It doesn't matter. I mean, yep, yep. All right. Well, everyone, am I live? We are live. Let me know, everyone watching live, that you can see us and hear us, because that'd be like great and everything. Uh, guess who's here? Kelly Young.
Hey, great to be here. Thanks for having me on, Mike.
Tip your waitress. Yep. Uh, as you guys know, these Thursday night shows, it's usually just me, but once a month or so, we want to do a guest. Um, last week we had Alan actually, and it's so technically it's time for me to do several more alone ones, but I snagged Kelly Young, so I don't want to turn that down. So
You guys are all stuck with me tonight.
yeah, listen, I'm sorry to. I realize that. Let's see, it's 7 o'clock where you are, right?
Yeah,
And I realize that you usually go to bed around 6:30. So thanks for staying up for this,
it's
you
true.
old fart.
Actually, Thursday night is usually my writing night because my buddy has a wine bar just down the street that's only open Wednesday through Friday, and I've got a little seat there and a table, and I go and write there. Other writers
Oh,
go to
that's
coffee
nice.
shops. I go to a
Yeah.
wine bar. But I got 2,000 words in earlier today, and I felt like I could
Wow.
skip it.
Impressive.
Yeah.
2000. Ah, yeah. Um, well, anyway, if you're watching this for the first time, uh, this is either called Thursday Night Live or Late Night with Lovecraft Easing, or both. I don't know. But I do this every Thursday night, and the big show is on Sundays. Excuse me, at 6 p.m. Eastern. We've been doing that one for years, and putting the audio edition out and so forth. And so one Thursday about a year ago, I thought, I'm going to sit here and just start talking and see if any of my followers are interested. And amazingly, they are. So thanks, guys. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. So how the hell are you? Well,
Uh,
you know
you
what?
know,
Before you answer that, tell everyone who you are for those who don't know.
Kelly Young, author, filmmaker, publisher, podcaster.
All right. So how the hell are you?
Every day is a gift.
Yeah. Yeah,
As
I
you
know
know,
what's going
my
on though.
my father is very ill and literally has
Yeah.
maybe 2 weeks to live. So I'm spending a lot of time up north on the weekends, and it's I don't know. My mom says that he really enjoys the visits. I'm not sure he even knows who I am anymore.
Oh,
So he's
really?
he's yeah, he's very old. So I'm just trying to show up and sit with him for a little bit, hold his hand, and he
Yeah.
can't hear a thing and I can't understand anything he's saying. So it's just one of those things where I'm hoping that there's a little bit of a physical touch there, and that when he goes, it'll be nice and easy.
Yeah. 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 When I sent you that email earlier today about a couple of possible topics, I had completely forgotten about that. But so sorry about
And I
that.
thought you were joking when you sent me the topics. I was like, oh, some light discussion tonight.
Yeah,
Okay.
light discussion. What happens after you die? Oh, yep, I'm on Facebook too. So
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are watching there. That's new. That'll build up. And what I mean is the live stream right now, on
Oh, cool.
Facebook as
Okay.
well as YouTube. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
So it
Um,
shows up like on the ezine page.
like on the YouTube channel, you mean?
Oh, well, you
Oh,
said
no, no,
Facebook.
no. It depends on what I do. Thursday nights, I've been doing it on my personal page on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Sundays, Sundays, I've been dual streaming it to the big Facebook page. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So, um, different kind of show on Thursdays. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, well, I truly am sorry that your dad is going through this and you're going through this.
My dad is 92, so
Wow.
it's not like he's going out young or anything like that. And I've always had this thought that if as soon as you're born, you spin a big wheel full of numbers, and the number it lands on is the number you die at, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if you land at the number 92, you got to think you've done pretty good spin.
Yeah,
So, I don't think anyone's thinking that he didn't get it all out of life.
yeah. Uh, would you want to, one of my favorite movies is The Man from Earth. You remember that one?
Vaguely, yeah.
That this guy's immortal.
Right,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. Would you want to be immortal like that?
I think that it might get very sad and lonely after a while.
Sure.
So I don't know. I'm tired of it at, 56, quite honestly. So, and I'm just more and more disappointed with the human race. So,
Yeah, me too. Yeah. It's not even anger so much anymore as it is I'm just like the dad kind of I'm disappointed in you guys. You can do better than this,
yeah,
you know, but you're not doing better than this. So,
yeah, I
uh,
feel kind of like a lot of people have lost the plot. And we should be lifting each other up right now.
yeah. Um, to answer my own question, I would say yes, but as Kim just said in the live chat, I would want an off ramp if there's a way to die if I want to, 300 years from now.
Yeah,
Obviously, the worst part would be losing your loved ones, you know.
yeah,
Um, you know, mm, I still look 30, obviously. And
of course.
yeah,
What are you now?
man,
Actually, 30, 31, 32.
good
You're holding it
guess.
together pretty good.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Uh 54. And I I was just thinking earlier tonight, holy crap. We're just a few years away from 60.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of hit me. Not that I care particularly, but 60 is old, you know?
And not as old as it used to be.
Not as old as it used to be, but growing up, someone says they're 60 and you're like, I'm sure they have white hair and a cane, you know?
Well, things have changed so much in our lifetime. I've gone back and I've been rewatching the Barney Miller TV show there, and Fish, the old man who just complained constantly about he couldn't make it up the three flights of stairs and all of that stuff. He was 54 in
Oh
that series.
God. Yeah.
So you're
I saw
you're kicking
something,
ass on Fish.
yeah, I saw a headline somewhere which I didn't pursue, but I didn't read it, but basically about how characters in TV and movies, they used to be older at the same age, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, you know? Um, so I don't know. So yeah, did you see Superman yet?
Yes, I did.
What'd you think?
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, me too.
Just enough humor. Obviously, I'm a dog person, so Crypto. I don't even know who Mr. Terrific is, and he was my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah,
So I had a really, really good time with it.
in the comics, he's one of the three smartest people on the planet.
Okay.
Yeah, the other two, I think, in most versions, being Luther and Bruce Wayne. So,
Oh, okay.
um, but yeah, I just loved it. She's like, that's not supposed to happen. When the rift starts opening, it's like, oh, you don't say.
Yeah, he was great. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of him. I
Yeah.
if I recall, you're not a huge James Gunn fan, but I gotta say I think he's doing right by DC right now.
Oh no, I think he hit it out of the park. And I wasn't not a James Gunn fan. I just had nothing in common with the movies he has directed.
Sure.
And he did say something about the Batman '89 movie. I heard one time that he's like, "Ever that's such a piece of crap" or whatever. And I think that's like, oh, I can't believe you're going to do a DC movie now.
Oh,
But I think he hit it out of the park. I really do.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Damn good. And it always does make you feel old when you realize that Superman was a year old when I met Danielle, you know. So unbelievable.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
Um, so what do you think? What do you think happens after you die? I do want to spend a minute on that.
I mean, the real answer is I don't know. I
Yeah.
think probably your consciousness blips out and your energy, joins the new sphere or something like that, and you mingle. I don't think that there's a heaven or a hell or anything like that. Um, Although the novella I'm finishing up right now has hell as a manifested guilt construct of all the people who believe in it, and the only reason they're in it is because they thought they should be.
Wow, that's brilliant.
So
I
I've
love that.
been
When will that book be out?
hopefully by the end of the year. Um,
So anyway,
but
yeah, go on.
but I don't know. Maybe that's what happens afterwards is you end up in whatever your fondest memory is or something like that, whatever you can hold on
Yeah.
to, I guess. But but my gut feeling is that your consciousness blinks out.
Darren just said that's genius, your
Oh,
idea of hell. I read a story a long time ago. I think I was maybe 19 or 20. It was a short story, and it was basically something like that, where this guy died, and his son and his wife had died before him in like a car accident or something. So he was a little kid, and it was something to the effect, I'm really mangling this because it has been, almost 40 years, but him being able to find them in the afterlife because the father was an atheist, and what you believed was part of what happened too. Not because anyone said so, just like, the law of gravity. It's gonna, it just is something like that. And so yeah, you never know.
no. I think I turned you on to that, and now I can't remember the name of it. That novella, or maybe even it was smaller than a novella, but a guy that wrote about just the banality of hell, and almost everyone was in there because the only real religion was this thing that only a few people had ever practiced.
Yeah, thanks for bringing up A Short Stay in Hell, by the way,
That's
asshole.
what it is. Yes, a short stay in hell. Wasn't that something?
That was, well, it was genius, brilliant, brilliant story that I will never read again because it's just that concept is so frightening, and he's there millions, billions of years looking for
Yeah,
this book, you know? So, oh,
pretty bleak.
yeah, well, I have problems with, I can't watch or read about stuff where people are held prisoner or they're someone else is controlling their fate,
Mm,
so to speak, which A Short Stay in Hell certainly is.
yeah, right.
Um, but yeah, I would say to everyone listening, if you haven't read A Short Stay in Hell, pick it up
Yeah.
because um, but yeah, it's kind of like the ending of Stephen King's Revival. There's a brilliant book that I'll never read again because it's
It's
just so disturbing.
pretty bleak. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, is that book, does that, is that in his normal, is that a part of his multiverse or is it a standalone? Because I couldn't figure out how does the Dark Tower fit into that concept, you know,
Yeah, the fact that the afterlife is some kind of demonic ant beings that round us up.
to
Um,
torture you, and doesn't matter if you've been good or bad, you go there.
right. That's just where we all end up. I don't
Christ.
know, the way the Dark Tower works is there are many spokes on the wheel, so it could be
Hmm.
somehow a part of it, but it doesn't tie into anything in the Dark Tower books. No.
Yeah. Um, what's the name of that novella that the guy, he gets a Kindle? I've read that several times, um,
Yeah,
and
I
I
think
can't
it's
remember blanking on the title
pronounced
right now.
or you
Er,
are.
yeah, you are. That's another one, guys. If you haven't read, it's just such a fun book to read.
Yeah.
I just find it fun, and I like reading books about like college professors, for example, or and he's at this crappy university and everything.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm not going to give away the plot, but it it figures into the Dark Tower for sure.
Right. Yeah.
And that would have been a really frightening end for that guy.
Yeah.
He skated out by saying the right thing,
Right.
you know. You remember that? If everything serves the tower, then
Then how do you
then
know
why,
that what I'm doing is not exactly what it wanted?
right? Yeah, pretty brilliant. Um, that came out when Kindles were very, very new. And I think
Yeah,
he
because it was
wanted to
a
do something about it.
it was a Kindle only thing for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. So uh I don't know. I'm pretty much right with you. I've got an open mind, but Carl Sagan said, I'm paraphrasing, as much as I want to believe that there's an afterlife where I'll be reunited with my loved ones and so forth, I haven't seen any evidence that this is true. Anecdotal doesn't really count.
Yeah, and it seems like such a human construct
Mhm.
to think that you would be able to be, joined with the people that you love and lost. It doesn't seem like something that, I mean, it's magic, right?
Yeah,
And that's a little hard to wrap your head around.
yeah,
I know in the last 5 years or so, I've kind of changed my view on a creator. I was just dead set against there being any kind of creator. And over the last 5 years or so, I've started to think that that seems more likely than anything, but that then that creator, whoever wound the clock of reality, just started it going and then fucked off, and
yeah,
left us to figure it out on our own.
yeah. The problem that I personally have with that is that which is easier to believe that the universe began on its own, that something was there forever and at some point it exploded and created the universe, or that a super intelligent being has always been something far more complicated than just matter, non-thinking matter. And ugh, it seems like it's easier to believe that it just happened, than to believe in somebody sitting there forever, basically, and then deciding he's going to create the universe.
Well, looking at it like that, I would agree. But what
Mhm.
if this super intelligent being had something else going on, and the end of that was the beginning of our universe and our reality right now?
Yeah. Or this is one universe. After he created it, he's like, I'm going to try something new, and pops off and never returns,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
I mean,
to a different universe.
even then you're applying like a human idea to this
Yeah,
intelligence, which doesn't work because it makes you think, oh, he had a plan, and I don't think that was ever the thing. But I do think that something out there started this for whatever reason.
yeah.
That makes more sense to me than it just started by itself.
Whichever one is true, it's still fascinating,
Yeah.
you know?
Well,
It's
and
it's
then
still fascinating.
if we're right and your consciousness just blinks out, we don't even get to know after we die.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
Uh, then after after we die, we all go into that great something or that great nothing.
Yeah, I
Somebody
think it's the
interviewed
great
me,
nothing.
Nick Boddick. He interviewed me a few months ago, and he said that what freaked him out, I think he's an atheist, although I don't want to speak for him, but just by what he said the fact that I am going to die and then be part of that nothing, that darkness forever freaks me out. And I was like, well, you won't really know about it. You won't even exist. And he's like, yeah, I know, but it just really bothers me. And I said, well, look at it this way. You were there before you were born too, right? You were not, you were in non-existence before you were born. So, and did that hurt you or anything? No, it didn't.
Right.
And
Yeah,
he said, no,
imagine.
he said in all the times that he's mentioned that to people, that I'm the only one who ever said something like that made him feel better about it. Um, but it just seems to make sense. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, imagine that we had some kind of inkling or memory of that nothingness and then had the certainty that we were going back to it.
Eh, yeah,
Dark stuff.
yeah. Well, Nathan Bellingrud, I think you know him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I know
he
of him.
really,
I don't know him.
huh?
I know of him. I've read him, but I don't know him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's something that somebody quoted Nathan on Facebook, and I never knew that he had written this down somewhere. Nathan was on the show with Ellen Datlow and Jeff Ford and Gemma Files a couple of weeks ago. And here's the quote: horror fiction to me isn't about fear or revulsion. It's about ache. It's about terrible sadness. The world is a brutal, pitiless place, and we're going to lose everything we love, and we're going to die. That's the horror. And we're all aware of it. It's the effort that we make anyway, the struggle for love or beauty or purpose that I find so sweetly sad. It's beautiful the way a shooting star is beautiful. It stands in bright, brief contrast to the empty gulf. Every story is a horror story at its heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus. I'm really glad you invited me on tonight because
Yeah.
this is a real
Yeah. Am I cheering
lift
you
me
up?
up.
But yeah, in let's see, what is Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, there's an entry where he says something like, we're all just standing on the shoreline, skipping rocks across the pond, you know, waiting to see where it goes. Basically, we're here and we're biding our time. We're not biding our time. We're um, spending time doing whatever we're doing, and then it's over. You
Yeah.
know, so that's a really good book, by the way. The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows.
I
Have you
don't
heard of
think I've
that?
read that one. I don't think I've read that one.
It's not a novel or anything. It actually is. a dictionary, and he made up words to describe things that we don't have words for.
Oh, okay.
Here's the book, and it's on
Excuse
Kindle
me.
too, by the way.
Oh,
And yeah, the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows defines new words for emotions that we all feel but don't have the language to express. And there's more, but that's the sum of it. And the example, this is one of my favorites too, that they use on the back cover. There's a word he made up called sonder, Sonder, and I think you'll like this. The realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and as complex as your own, populated with their own emulations, friends, routines, worries, and inherited craziness, an epic story that continues invisibly around you, like an anthill spreading deep underground. These words are really small, so I'm trying to read them. With elaborate passageways to thousands of other lives that you'll never know exist, in which you might, this is the part I really love, these other lives that exist on Earth. You, the guy down the street, whatever, um, in which you may appear only once as an extra sipping coffee in the background, or as a blur of traffic passing on the highway, as a lighted candle at dusk.
hmm.
It's just sort of saying every car that goes down the free. Let's say you're watching a movie. Sometimes I wonder this, and a car goes down the freeway. That's because they're shooting near a freeway, and I think that's a whole other universe right there. And
Yeah.
and multiply that times what, 9 billion people. Um, and he said an extra, which is kind of comparing it to a movie that you and I are extras in everybody else's movie,
Yeah.
or in many people's. Um, so yeah, it's a really cool book. Really cool book. I'm not cheering you up, am I?
Always a pleasure to just sit and hear your dulcet tones.
Yes, yes, I can put you to sleep. All right. Um, what else I got? Oh, did you see the Fantastic Four? Because I
I
haven't
did.
yet. How
Yeah.
is that? Do I need to watch it?
Yeah, it's really, really good. Another kind of feel-good superhero movie. I will say this, I am not a Superman guy, and I am a Fantastic Four guy. I still
Hmm.
liked Superman better than Fantastic Four. There was just
Interesting.
something a little more joyful about Superman.
Yeah.
But I thought Fantastic Four was very, very good. It made me think of Rick or
Oh
of Joe,
man,
and I was just like, boy, I really
they would have
they
loved it.
would, yeah.
They missed out. They would have loved it.
Or, maybe our energy sticks around and we get to do whatever we want up there. Maybe they caught it before everybody.
Yeah. Well, Alan Hughes, friend, panelist, Patreon, um, he drew an illustration of Joe welcoming Rick to Carcosa.
I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah, that's just it was so beautiful.
it was beautiful.
My contribution was the idea that I told Alan, and that was it because I can barely draw stick figures. So, but yeah, it would be comforting to think that that is the case, that we do live on,
Yeah,
but all we can do really is just as much as is possible enjoy the moment that we're in and not worry too much about that kind of stuff. It's
yeah,
it's
I agree. I mean, you can really ruin your life by deciding to dwell on this stuff.
yeah.
I've tried very hard the last couple of years to just kind of put my head down and write and just create, get some kind of positive thing out in the world.
And you're succeeding,
Yeah.
by the way. You're doing a hell of a job with your books.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Yeah.
you always write under K.L. Young, right?
Yes. A.L.
Yeah,
Young.
yeah,
I'm actually releasing the last three books in a second edition, and I've got an artist who's putting together covers that all kind of go along with each other and adding the original screenplays that the books were based on and stuff like that. Just to kind of have everything under one cover,
yeah.
kind of for myself.
Nice.
So yeah,
Well, guys, he really is a talented writer. I just wrote his pen name in the side chat, so be sure and read his books.
oh, thank you.
Uh,
I have a story in the brand new issue of Forbidden Futures, and if you haven't seen Forbidden Futures
wow,
lately, this thing is gigantic, and
holy crap.
it is just art and stories, and it is something else. I am just so thrilled to be a part of this.
Wow.
Philip Fracassi has a
Congratulations.
brand new story in this, and it's really cool. It's a big long story too. So to be in
Yeah,
a table of contents with Fracassi, Cody Goodfellow, Anna Tambor, three of my favorite current writers
yeah.
right now. Ross Lockhart has an article in this. It's just a really cool magazine.
Alan says, that sounds great. I would love to read the screenplay for Secret Language of Spiders.
Yeah, I put it in there because it's quite a bit different. And I mean, if you're interested at all in seeing, well, how I specifically adapt a screenplay, into a novel, it's kind of interesting for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I remember when you were toying with it maybe 8 or 9 years ago and had me
Yeah.
read the screenplay. So,
Yeah.
um,
You were a character all the way back in the screenplay.
that's right. Yeah, but I think that as far as dying, what would bother me is if I realized that I was dying, whether it was from old age or I'm in a car accident or whatever, and to realize I didn't get that done, that a couple of those things that I really wanted to do, you know,
Right.
um, that's what would bother me more than anything.
Yeah.
Aside from my family, I think that's a given, of course. But
It's also you know, the unfortunate thing with my dad, watching him go out like this is very sad because he was a big brass bull of a man.
yeah,
Um, and I know that this is not the way he would like to go out, but watching him go out like this has kind of allowed the family to at least get used to the idea of we're losing him rather than, a heart attack happening and surprising everybody.
yeah,
So I don't know. I think for his sake, I kind of wish she had had a massive heart attack and went out on top. I think that's the way I'd rather go.
yeah.
So to that end, I eat horrible shit constantly and drink every night. So
Well, it's good to have a goal, Kelly. What's the story in the magazine, Forbidden Futures?
it's called In the Darkness Light. And the interesting thing about Forbidden Futures is all the art is by a artist named Mike Dubish. And the
Oh yeah, like
and you are invited to participate in the issue, but and they'll tell you, this is the theme, sleep. And if you accept the invitation, then they give you an image and a word count. And so I didn't
wow.
have any idea what was going to happen. They sent me the picture and they were like, "This is your story, go." And I was like, I can't do this." And then I did something that I thought was actually pretty good.
Really, because I was going to say it seems to me from the writing that I do that it's easier with a starting idea with a prompt. Kind of like writing a story for an anthology. The editor goes, this is the theme, this is what I want you to write about, you know.
Yeah, I'm still a pretty young writer when it comes to actually writing this kind of stuff, and so it seemed pretty daunting to me at first. Um, but you're probably right. It's just not something I had ever tried to do.
Well, I don't know about the probably, but sure.
So you're definitely right, as usual, Mike.
No, yeah, I loved the little speech that Superman gave Lex Luthor near the end of the movie. He said,
Yeah.
"This is what you've always gotten wrong about me. I'm as human as anyone. I get scared, I don't know what to do sometimes, and I wake up every day and I put up one foot in front of the other, and you know, I thought that was beautiful." Um,
Not only that, that was written so well because the button on that was he's like, that's my greatest strength, and someday I hope you'll realize it's yours. And
yeah,
I was like, that's such a Superman thing to do, is say, you've got this greatness in you if you would stop being such a fucking asshole.
yeah, and that lines up with the comics too.
Yeah,
Superman, he's always in most versions in the comics wanted Lex to um, quit focusing on him, and he's such a genius to focus on making the plight of the human race better,
yeah.
you know. So, so yeah. So here's a question, and I think it lines up with what we've been talking about. And maybe you've seen it on the podcast or heard it on the podcast, but I like to ask people, creators near the end of the interview, this question, and maybe 90% of the time. And the question is, um,
Oops.
did you leave?
Nope. Let's see. There I am.
Okay, did you leave was not the question.
The camera was like, this interview is over.
Yeah, exactly. What does success mean to you personally? Because it there's so many different ways to answer that, so many different ways to feel, and um, that's why I think it's such an interesting question because everyone answers it differently.
Yeah. Um,
In other words, what has to happen to make you feel like I'm successful?
Well,
I
and
haven't.
that's certainly changed over the course of my lifetime. When I was hustling and writing spec screenplays, the only success was going to be getting a screenplay not only purchased, but turned into a film.
Yeah,
So I sold a couple of screenplays that never got made, and that was just crushing disappointment because,
yeah,
I wanted to my parents were always my biggest fans. I wanted to show my mom, hey, all that support you gave me, look at this. And then trying to explain to her, 10 years after selling a script, she's like, when is that movie coming out? I'm like, Mom, that movie's never coming out. They paid me and then they trashed it.
yeah,
So, I think that, that's what it was when I was in my 20s and down in LA. And then after that, I think I would have been just fine selling a spec script a year and not having a day job.
yeah,
That I would have considered that success. Now I consider what I'm doing as success. Being able to sit down and write and put out the books that I want to put out. And most of my books are novelizations of my old screenplays. So there's kind of this idea of, oh, it didn't get turned into a movie. It got turned into a book. So it's still out
right.
there now, and people can actually see what I was doing all my life. And that was kind of why I started doing that, was just to so that when I do die in a very short time, um, there's a box there
Very
that,
short time.
oh yeah, you know me, I'm way past my bedtime already.
Yeah,
Um, there's a box there that has my name on it, and there's a few things in there that people can go, oh, look, that guy existed.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's, finally, I'm successful. I'm not making a dime off of any of these books or anything like that. But the stuff that I wanted people to see is available for them to see, and that's how I consider myself successful now.
And it's
Plus,
so
also look at all these fucking amazing toys.
right, right, which is probably the most important aspect of your
Yeah,
success.
absolutely. This is how I measure success.
It's seriously though, it's such a mentally healthy way to be, the way you are thinking about success now.
Well, took me a long time to get here. I mean, you've known me for a long time, and I don't know that I would say I'm mentally healthy, but I'm in a better place than I was.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Viktor Frankl has a quote about success that I just thought of, and I'm gonna I'm gonna Google it real quick because um, I loved it so much. Currently rereading Man's Search for Meaning. You probably
Hmm.
know who this guy is, right?
Yeah,
Concentration camp survivor.
yes.
Um, don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you're going to miss it. Because success, like happiness, cannot be pursued, it must ensue. And it only does so as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself, or as the byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself. Happiness must happen, and the same holds for success. You have to let it happen by not caring about it. Um, I want you to listen to what your conscience commands you to do, which is what you've really been doing, Kelly, writing these books the last several years, and go on to carry it out to the best of your knowledge. Then you will live to see that in the long run, I say, success will follow you precisely because you had forgotten to think about it. And I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of truth in that, you know.
Yeah, I think that's the old saying of you won't get what you want until you stop trying to get what you want.
Yeah,
Um, and also, there's a little bit in there of my old screenplay writing teacher was like, every time I would write a mid-sized script, he was like, "Your problem is you're aiming low and hitting.
mm,
Aim high and miss, and you're going to be a lot more successful." But I kept
yeah,
thinking that if I can write a script that doesn't take a lot of money to make, people will want to make it.
yeah. Well, I do think that there is a lot to knowing what a goal is that you have that's important to you, and then not giving up, figuring out what you're doing that works to get you closer to that goal, and also what you're doing that is not getting you closer to that goal, and you keep
Yeah,
course correcting. Um, but at the same time, it's a balance, like so much of life is. If because there are too many people who, even if they don't consciously say it to themselves, it's subconscious. I'll I'll be happy when this happens, or I'll feel successful when that happens, you know. So
and then they're stunned that that happens and they're not happy.
right, yeah. It's the old wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
So um so yeah. What it means to me is I think there's two aspects mainly. There are other aspects, but number one, my wife and my son, you know how strongly I feel about them and how much I love them.
Of
And
course, yeah.
the three of us being together as a family, and 98% of the time nobody's upset with anyone. We're just we feel lucky that we have each other, and that includes my son and the way he feels about us. The other aspect, of course, is professionally, and I feel like I'm successful. Number one, a big thing for me has always been to be self-employed, you know, which I am, whether I make a lot of money or not. Um, the reason why I make any money at all is because of my Patreons. So thank you. But that said, the other part of it is, okay, you've got this podcast as an example. You're doing great with this, Mike. A lot of people enjoy it, talking to myself. But you need you need to keep growing it. And what my feeling is I'm successful with the podcast, not by the number of people who watch it or listen to it or anything, but by the fact that is it getting better? Are more people slowly finding out about it and listening to it? And am I doing things to make it grow? Then if the answer is yes, then I feel successful, so
Yeah. Well, nice.
yeah. Well, like I said, the answer is different for everyone, and I don't want to sit here and say, see, you need to be like Kelly and me, but but don't at the same time don't make the thing that's going to make you feel so successful so out of your control, like selling a screenplay, and it eventually gets made into a movie. The percentages are pretty small, right? And you have no control over it. That's the other thing. You have no control over it. So
Yeah. I
you've got to
mean,
make the,
when you're
yeah, go ahead.
down there churning them out, the mindset is if I can just write something so good, then they'll have to buy it and make it. But, that isn't even the case. Well,
No.
obviously.
Uh, Darren says, I have Outer Limits and Twilight Zone toys. Do you have any of those, Kelly?
I don't have any Outer Limits or Twilight Zone toys. My
I didn't know they
my
existed. That sounds cool.
my toy collection is limited to the stuff that I either had as a child and broke, or things that I wanted and couldn't afford. And I have managed to pick up all that. And the good news is it has only cost me 100 times more than they cost back then.
Oh, of course.
So
God, wouldn't that'd be
a
one
lot of
piece of
1970s
advice.
toys.
Yeah, that'd be one piece of advice to give ourselves, wouldn't it? About comic books or toys or
Just
whatever
take
as a
care of your
kid.
toys. But
Yeah,
you know
don't
what?
don't throw this out. Just hang on to it.
You know
Seal
what?
it
I
up
think
somewhere.
the love that I had for the Shogun Warriors or the Micronauts and everything was because of all the memories I had tied to playing with my friends with these things,
Right.
and we would beat the shit out of those toys. We'd have a really great time. So that's why I wanted to get them back.
Yeah. Well, so if I rent Fantastic Four, it's worth my time, right?
Yeah, I think you're gonna like it a lot.
Okay. Yeah. Um, Superman's, since we've been talking about him a little bit. So, uh, David Cornsweet, I think it's how you say his last name. I think he did a fantastic job. Then
Yeah,
there's Brandon Routh. There's the guy on TV,
yeah,
Tyler Hoechlin. Yeah, Tyler Hoechlin. That was Superman for 4 seasons. And then, of course, you've got Christopher Reeve,
right.
um, who's pretty hard to top. Do you have a favorite Superman actor?
Oh man, well, I mean, the
And I know you're a
Superman
Marvel
is
guy, but yeah,
Superman and Superman 2 came out, when I was 9 and 10 years old. So I'm
oh yeah,
always going to go with Christopher Reeve. I just think he was the perfect Superman. But I got to say, this new guy did a really, really nice job. The only thing that I was struck by was somehow Clark Kent is so much cooler looking than Superman in this movie. I was like, oh, what happened to nerdy Clark Kent? He's got messy hair and is real good looking and, got a smoking hot girlfriend and
Really?
everything.
I thought the opposite. I thought he looked kind of dorky as Clark Kent with his hair
Did
like that.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I thought he looked very hip and cool.
Well,
So
it was, and he's not perfect. He's like interviewing himself basically for these articles, which come on, man.
brilliant.
Yeah, and Lois rightly gives him shit about it. That this Clark, you can't do that anymore. That's just
Put,
wrong.
putting that interview scene there so early in the movie was such a nice way to show not just their relationship, but also kind of the frustration in an early relationship,
Yeah,
and that he is kind of naive and thinking, what did I do? I grabbed
which
this
is a
foreign
very
leader
Superman
and I
thing.
pressed him against the cactus. I barely hurt him,
So she goes, so torture. He's like, what? No.
Yeah, so that was a really nice scene. That might be my favorite scene in the movie, actually.
One of my favorite scenes is when Lois brings him to his parents after she helps him escape, and
Yeah,
um, he the next morning he says to his dad, Pa Kent, you don't understand. I'm not who I thought I was.
yeah,
Um, and what his dad said to him, that what you wanted that message to mean says a whole lot more about you than what it actually did mean.
yeah,
And then he said the thing that I really love, my favorite line in the movie. Your choices, Clark, your actions, that is what makes you who you are,
yeah,
what you do. And I couldn't be more proud of you. I just tearing up at that one. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah. It's a good movie.
yeah. Um, well, then I'll let you go so you can get to bed. But Christopher Reeve, obviously, I don't think you can't top Christopher Reeve for many of us because that grew up in that time period.
Yeah.
Now, if you grew up later, if you're 25 years old, maybe not. But let's remove him from the picture. Now, who's your favorite Superman besides Christopher
Oh,
Reeve?
well, I also think that the times were simpler back then, and an 8 or 9 year old watching that Christopher Reeve movie versus this movie.
Hmm.
Um, those movies are pretty goofy, those Christopher Reeve movies. He flies backwards around the world and
Right,
turns time back, or he kisses Lois and makes her forget that she knows his
right.
secret identity. Um, so I can understand, kids not loving that. I will say that I thought that Henry Cavill was a really good Superman and not given a really good Superman movie.
Yeah,
I
I
liked him a
really liked
lot.
him a lot. I liked him a lot too.
Yeah.
Um,
And the same thing with Brandon Ruth. I thought he was a really good Superman and given a really poor Superman movie to be in.
yeah, the thing about Brandon Routh is, besides the fact that he's from the same place I am, uh, he his Superman was very, um, I want to be part of the human race, but I'm not. I'm different from everyone else, and that's hard to take sometimes. And there was this, he was Superman. He was like a real close Christopher Reeve Superman, but there was
Yeah,
this little trace of sadness in him. You know what I mean? Throughout
yeah,
much of the movie until you get to the end and he finds out, look, you're part of humanity too. That kid is your son,
yeah,
and that he really likes that a lot. Really cheers him up. I think it's a really good movie, but uh, I think I'm in the minority on that. But he is one of my favorite Supermen.
yeah.
The I can't stop talking about this, but before I mention Jimmy Olsen in this movie. who is just brilliant. You know, he is this young guy, intern type guy or whatever. Um, but women just fawn over him.
Yeah,
He,
I thought that was a hilarious little
yeah,
addition to the lore.
yeah. And so, remember when Lois is in Clark's house after she drops him off, Jimmy says, call me. And so she calls him and he's like, yeah, Lex Luthor's girlfriend, she really likes me or whatever it was he said. And she's like, she just stops and she's like, how do you do it,
How
Jimmy?
do you do it? So, I mean, if I had a
Yeah,
nitpick, it would be the fact that the the world is being torn asunder, and yet they've got a news item on Lex being a traitor to his country, like immediately afterwards.
yeah,
When I thought, boy, I think most people would be concentrated on, oh, is the world being ripped in half? So I thought that there was, a couple of nitpicks on the story stuff, but
sure.
overall, what a fun, lovely movie to start the new DC universe off with.
What they, what he really, and well done, James Gunn. He wrote it too. And the part where forget the name of the country that's being invaded
Yeah,
in this
I don't
movie,
know.
fictional country, but the the people of that nation are out there with their baseball bats and everything because they're not armed.
Right.
They're about to be invaded and killed and everything. And this little kid and his friend hold up a Superman flag
Yeah.
and start chanting Superman. Man, that hit me where I lived. And then one of the adults noticed and immediately thought, that's a fantastic idea. And everyone else starts chanting Superman. And I'm like, that's perfect. That's just so perfect.
Yeah, it's the jolt that the superhero movies needed, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Well, man, got to get up early in the morning.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, this
Well, you're
this
the boss
isn't
now,
my
aren't you?
bedtime, but I am the boss now. This isn't my bedtime, but I do hit the hay, sometime before 10 usually.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I
I've been reading though.
understand.
I've been reading. I keep meaning to ask you. Have you
Yeah.
read it's several years old now. Paul Pope's Batman Year 100?
No,
I think it came out maybe 15 years ago, maybe more.
does not ring a bell. Batman Year 100?
Yeah, it's really good because it's set in the year 2038 and there is a Batman running around, and the police commissioner he's the Batman of Gotham, and the police commissioner is trying to figure out who this guy is, and it's a dystopian future where masks have been outlawed and all this stuff, and then this guy
Yeah,
pops up and starts causing havoc, and I was really blown away with it, and I thought to myself, how did I miss this piece of
yeah,
brilliance? And it's because I wasn't really reading comics regularly anymore back then. But I've been picking up digital stuff, and I think I remember you having like a DC
Y-
subscription or something.
yeah. I've got the DC Universe Infinite subscription, which is basically the equivalent of someone saying, almost all of the DC comics that we've ever published, Mike, it's in this huge warehouse. Have at it. You know,
Well, look this up. Batman Year 100, the
I just
creator
did.
is Paul Pope.
Well, I missed the retelling of the Joker um, for 15 years. The Man Who Laughs. That
Oh
is a
yeah.
brilliant story
Yes.
that even me as a comic book reader somehow missed. Um,
Yeah, there's some cool stuff out there. Some
no,
really
I'll read
neat.
this. I'm sure it's on DC Universe Infinite, so I'll read this.
Yeah, get back to me. The art is very unconventional, but as you get into it, I think you'll start to really enjoy it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good to see you, man. I'm glad
You
you
too, brother.
came on board and
Yeah. Thanks for
chatted with
having
me
me.
this. Yeah. Hey, thanks to everyone for staying up late with us. You guys are awesome. Thanks to my patrons and good night and good luck. Thanks, Kelly. Good to see you, buddy.